RV number 4J178. This was a very interesting esoteric type remote viewing session for me. Right from the get-go, it seemed like a black and white 1950s, 60s science fiction movie. It just had that vibe of like me watching a movie. My first main visual was a medium-sized heavy-duty cargo box truck. There was no markings on it. I thought first it was military, but there was no markings on it, but very similar to a military transport type heavy-duty truck. The event, which I'm calling it, happened at nighttime. It was pitch black when my first visual about where I was going. There was, on the other side, I have other information, but it was over a 2-day type event. In other words, it was in a rural area. This seemed to be non-military, but it was linked to the military. So in other words, it wasn't green with a star on it or, U.S. Army or anything like that. It was like a covert type thing. I kept getting this over and over again. Spin the story, disinformation, it's only folklore, it could be a hoax. And then I also got with it, this is part of an advanced military program. And that all went together in like one clump of data over and over, probably 2 or 3 times. I also had the word secret. I also had visuals of the movie Men in Black and the movie Transformers. I'm not much into science fiction, but they came through. They must be some sort of reference to this whole thing. I also was trying to figure out who's involved in this in some form. And I kept coming up with Russia is aware of this or involved in some way. Whether it's part of their program or they know of this program if it's ours. And on the other side here, this is more about what I actually saw. It was a landscape, like a farm area outside, like a landscape area. It was kind of a boxy region. And what I saw was, I'm just going to report what I saw, a silver disc about 6 foot round, silver. It was a type of metal. I tried probing it and all I got was a metal feeling. This part was broken right here. This thing malfunctioned and it crashed crashed into the ground at this location, which was sort of a farm type area. It broke into 2 pieces. This back part broke off, in which that tan truck in the beginning part picked up both pieces and took it away somewhere. What was unusual about this was I kept getting the feeling of pulses and waves, like a signal. And it felt like it was coming from space, like not from Earth, but from space. And I kept seeing this like a waveform over and over and over again. Like I said earlier, a malfunction, whatever this thing was. I think it's linked to this technology was in this UAP or UFO, whatever you want to call it. Over on this side here, the words silver robot, automatic or automatic, whatever that word is there. I don't even know what this word even is. I had to look it up. It means like robot-like. That came through. It's like the word in whatever that movie was, Transformers, autotomic or something like that, whatever that word is. I don't even know what the word even is. Now, inside this UAP, we'll call it, was this strange looking, I call it an arm, or it looked like a hand, no fingers, but it was like silver. And this was a control mechanism, it was high tech. It was like a robot hand. And it was inside this round disc thing. And it controlled everything. There was no aliens, no grays inside. I didn't see any of that. Very high tech. It was connected. It was part of another system or another thing linked to it. And I believe it may have been this thing, which is waves from the space there controlling it of some form. I don't know what's controlling this, of course, but it was linked together and it seemed to be working, together. this part here from space is working with this. And I kept getting that this was like a data gathering, reconnaissance type mission type thing. Right? I was trying to figure out what was the purpose of this thing. If it was a UAP or an alien craft or something, what was it trying to do? And I kept getting that it was trying to collect data on, I guess, this area or this Earth or something. I wasn't really sure what to make of it. I was trying not to let my mind wander, but it definitely had, pretty much all esoteric. It reminded me of a 1950s science fiction movie. You know what I'm saying? Like the aliens are coming. I even had thoughts early on, I could have AOL'd like World of Worlds type thing, very, very weird for me because as you know, I'm not much into the esoteric type stuff. I just writing down the data that comes through. So I don't know how this works, but it's linked to something else. I know that this is not by itself. So that's all I could get. So that brown truck was eventually called to the scene. I also got, I think I said this earlier. It was originally called in as a small plane crash. The locals, noticed that it wasn't a plane when they got to the site. And then, there was this whole thing about spinning the story, like on the front part, and saying it's a hoax, saying you didn't see it, it's not an alien, it's Russians or something like that. The whole thing seemed to be a lot of deception involved in this whole thing. Like, is it real? Is it not real? Let's just spin it. I don't know what to think of it. It was interesting either way. So that's my RV session for that, and I hope there's something useful out of it.